Hey, what's going on, guys? So it looks like we got bad news. Possible bloody day tomorrow in the markets. What are we going to do? What's the news? What's going on? How do we play the market even if it's red? How do we make money? How do we pull money out of a market that's crashing? And how do we stay ahead of the curve here? So what we're going to do is we're watching gold, we're watching oil, we're watching to short the overall indices. Some of the stocks I'm going to be watching tomorrow morning. Going to be looking right here. You can see gold. This is a gold futures. Gold futures is already up almost 15 points there, up big on the news. If you haven't heard the news yet, obviously America launched 60 missiles at Syria. Big news there. Obviously looking to see what happens with Russia. Is Russia going to be pissed at this idea? I think they're going to be pissed. I think there's going to be a lot of trouble tomorrow. I think overall the market's going to sell off with any uncertainty that we go to war or what happens overall. So this is what we're talking about right now. If we go to war, how do we make money in the market? If the market's crashing, how do we make money as a day trader? What do we do? So like I just showed you, I showed you the gold futures. How do we play the gold play? What's the gold play for tomorrow if the market's crashing? So we're looking at Nugget. Nugget's a 3 times ETF. It's going to be bullish on the price of gold, following the miners. If gold is flying, so will the miners. So keeping an eye on NUGT Nugget and also looking at JNUG. JNUG as well, 3 times ETF of junior miners. So those are 2 stocks to play for the gold area if you want to make some quick money to scalp in and out. Watching for that news to break, seeing what's happened. The more uncertainty, the more gold's going to fly here tomorrow morning. So keeping an eye on these 2 stocks. So looking at the overall S&P futures, it's down 0.50% here already. Not looking good. It's only 10 o'clock at night, so obviously as the rest of the markets open in the rest of the world, if they start crashing, so will these futures. We're going to wake up to a really bloody open. If we get down to, 2%, 3% negative in the red, it's not going to be a pretty day tomorrow. A lot of people are going to be selling off. Going to be looking for those major indices to sell off. And how do we short those? So we're looking to short those indices. One of my favorite stocks to jump into as a short vehicle is SQQQ. SQQQ is going to follow the overall tech market. If the tech market is going to take a hit, that's usually what I feel like they're going to take a hit big. If there's uncertainty in the market, if there's an idea that we're going to war, things like that, we're going to be seeing the big sell-off in companies like Apple, stuff like that, crashing down at the idea of just an overall global turmoil. And just keep an eye on those. You want to be looking at the indices for the biggest sell-off, seeing what happens. If it's red, this is where you want to be, SQQ. And there's a couple other, ETFs, things like that you can get into. You're going to be shorting some major stocks as well, looking for those moves. Going to be watching those stocks. You got USO that follows the price of oil. Not a big mover, but if oil starts flying, this is going to fly really fast and really big and jump up. You can see the price of oil. The futures is already up almost 2% there on the news that we're going to war with Syria. If we go to war with Syria, obviously that's the Middle East. That's where most of the oil comes from. That's OPEC. Big deal there. If that's going to mess with production, if that's going to jump up the price of oil, any kind of unrest in the Middle East is obviously going to be good for the price of oil and send the price of oil flying. So that's what we're watching. We're watching the price of oil tomorrow. We're watching gold, and we're looking to short the overall indices. One of my favorite ETFs, obviously SQQQ. You got that 3 times inverse of the market to play against those tech stocks in the overall NASDAQ. Just because the market's red, just because the market's selling off, there's still opportunity. So be ready. Make sure you're studying. Make sure you're watching the market tomorrow morning to see what's going to happen. And also just watching the news, listening to the news, and seeing what's going on. If we're going to war with Russia, if we're going to war with Syria, what's going to happen? Is Putin pissed? I think so. And if Putin's pissed, the market's going to be red. So make sure you keep an eye on this tomorrow. Just because the markets are red, we can still make money, so don't worry. It's still game on tomorrow. So be ready. This might be a big red day.